For decades, AI has basically been trapped behind our screens. But we are right at the beginning of this profound, incredible shift. AI is finally getting a body, and it's about to start walking among us.
So just think about it for a second. Have you physically seen or interacted with a robot today? I'm guessing for most of us the answer is probably no. But that is about to change, and probably way faster than you think.
Because this isn't science fiction anymore, not by a long shot. The era of embodied AI, of actual humanoid robots, is officially moving out of the research labs and into the real world. This is an economic reality, an investment story that is unfolding right now as we speak.
Okay, so that begs the question, right? Why now? I mean, after all these years of kind of slow progress, why have we suddenly hit this massive inflection point? Well, it turns out there's a perfect storm of factors all converging to make this the moment for humanoids to really step into the spotlight.
And this, right here, is the core engine of the whole revolution, the AI robotics flywheel. We are literally seeing the ChatGPT moment for robotics, where generative AI is completely transforming how they learn. So instead of rigid handwritten code, they learn by watching and by simulating. And this creates this incredibly powerful feedback loop. Smarter AI makes for a more capable robot, which then goes out and generates more real-world data, which in turn makes the AI even smarter.
And you can see just how fast that flywheel is spinning right here. Just look at this timeline. For years, progress was pretty steady, Then boom, Tesla enters the scene in 2022 and just lights a fire under everyone. And the last 2 years, an absolute explosion. The pace we're seeing is no longer linear, it's exponential.
And look, this isn't happening in a vacuum. It's really a convergence of three powerful forces all hitting at once. First, you have a clear economic need driven by labor shortages. Second, you have that massive AI breakthrough we just talked about. And third, you have these critical hardware improvements in things like motors, sensors, and batteries. Simply put, the need is finally meeting the technology.
So this brings up a really common question. Why make them look like us? I mean, wouldn't a specialized machine, like a robotic arm or a super smart forklift, be way more efficient for a specific task? It's a great question, but there is a very, very powerful strategic reason for the human form.
It all comes down to one key idea. The specialized robot you see on the left, it needs a custom world built completely around it. But our world, our factories, our warehouses, our homes, is already built for us. This is what experts call a brownfield environment. And that, right there, is the humanoid's killer advantage. It's designed to fit into our world, not the other way around.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang, who is, at the absolute center of this AI revolution, he puts it perfectly. He makes two critical points here. First, we built the world for us. And second, that means we have an almost infinite amount of video data of humans just doing stuff, the perfect training library to teach these robots.
So, just how big is this opportunity we're talking about? Well, we are not talking about some niche gadget market. This technology is targeting the fundamental nature of labor itself, and that creates one of the largest market opportunities you could possibly imagine.
That's the number, $30 trillion. That's the approximate value of the entire global labor market. That's the ultimate prize. That's the total addressable market that humanoids could, one day, tap into.
So let's break down the economics here for a second. The global workforce is about 3.6 billion people. Now, Elon Musk is targeting a cost of around $20,000 for a robot. That's less than a car. At that price point, the payback period for a business to replace a human worker could be as short as 12 months. I mean, that is just a ridiculously powerful economic incentive.
And just look at what this is doing to the expert forecasts. It's wild. In 2023, Goldman Sachs predicted a $6 billion market by 2035. Okay, just 1 year later, they revised that estimate up more than six-fold to $38 billion. And other forecasts are even more aggressive. This isn't just blind optimism, it's a recognition of how quickly everything is accelerating.
So who is actually building this future? An entire ecosystem is forming around this, and it's creating this global race with players from all over the world jumping in. I love this chart because it really maps out the whole landscape. See, it's not just about the companies building the final robots. You also have the enablers, the companies making the batteries, the chips, the software, and then you have the beneficiaries, the logistics, auto, and retail giants who will be the first to actually deploy these robots at a massive scale.
The race really has two kinds of competitors.
On one side, you have these established giants like Tesla and Honda, and they're leveraging their huge manufacturing and R&D power. And then on the other side, you have this new wave of incredibly well-funded, super-focused startups like Figure AI and Sanctuary AI, and they're attracting billions in cash from the biggest names in tech. A few key players are really defining this race so far. In the US, you've got Tesla pushing for mass scale alongside the super-hyped startup Figure AI. Up in Canada, Sanctuary AI is making some serious waves, and you absolutely cannot ignore the major push coming out of China with companies like UBTech. And really, underpinning almost all of them is NVIDIA, building the AI brains and the virtual training grounds for pretty much the entire industry.
Okay, so for all this incredible progress, it is really important we ground ourselves in reality here. This is not going to happen overnight. There are still some pretty significant technical and even social challenges to overcome.
This slide does a great job summarizing the 5 big hurdles. So, you've got mechanics. I mean, getting hands to have human-like dexterity is incredibly hard. Uptime. Batteries have to last a full work shift. Cost. The components are still really expensive. The AI itself. The software still needs to get a lot better at navigating the real world. And finally, social acceptance. We, as a society, have to get comfortable with robots working right alongside us.
But here's a fascinating comparison. A lot of people assume humanoids are much farther away than, say, self-driving cars. But there's a really strong argument that they could actually get to market faster. Think about it. A car's mechanics are simple: steer, brake, accelerate, but its operating environment on public roads is infinitely complex and unpredictable. A humanoid is the opposite. Mechanically, it's very complex, but you can deploy it first in a highly controlled, predictable factory or warehouse. And that controlled environment makes the whole safety and training problem much, much easier to solve.
And just to give you a sense of the ultimate vision here, this is a prediction from Elon Musk. He believes humanoids won't just supplement human labor, but will eventually outnumber us, maybe even 2 to 1. We're talking about a future with 10, maybe even 20 billion humanoid robots on Earth. It's a truly audacious vision, but it shows you the scale of thinking at the forefront of this field.
So, that's where we are. The technological pieces are falling into place with astonishing speed. The economic incentives are crystal clear, and the investment capital is pouring in. The hurdles are real, for sure, but the momentum is just undeniable. This really isn't a question of if anymore. The only real question left is, how fast?